Hey everybody, Mac to Master, back to the Marvel Heroes. And we have a guest, Ghost Riders on the chopping block. He's had a quality of life pass, which basically means is they change some stuff around to make him perform better. I don't know all the changes that they did with him. I can tell you Chain Thrash now regenerates health on enemy hit, and Chain Lash now adds +1 damage for percent damage for each percent emission spirit. Um, Judgment hits harder. It doesn't. It's a regular chain attack now. It's not what it was. Chains Ablaze they changed, so it's now a passive effect. You don't have to activate it. It gives you a passive crit and physical damage rating, but it also, every time you hit something affected by Hellfire, you restore spirit and get extra physical damage rating for 5 seconds. Inferno now applies 1 stack of Hellfire on its initial cast and makes things vulnerable, and basically makes everything have Hellfire. Protect the Innocent now gives you health per second, projectile deflection, defense, and then infects are increased by 50% while standing in infernals. And then when you take damage, you and your allies gain Constitution as well. Penance Stare has a channel time, and it's an execute, giving you it hits 4 times a second instead of 2 times a second. And I actually like it now. It's a lot better than it was. And then Spirit of Vengeance works differently. It now passively gives you maximum health and mental damage rating. Personally, I wish that mental damage rating was just damage rating. And then it negates 10% damage rating. Then when you hit with a power, you get an additional 10% damage negation, damage rating of 256, and effects are increased by 100% for each 25% total health you are missing. And the buff duration is 7.1 seconds, and that increases as you put points into it. So there's some other changes in there as well I probably missed, but those are the ones I remember. Oh yeah, and his ultimate was changed as well, which now does physical damage twice per second in an area for 15 seconds, gives you increased movement speed, and negates 40% of all incoming damage, and then summons these little pillars again, which do mental damage twice per second and slow everything down again. So it's pretty nice. And it's definitely beefier. And we'll show that off. So this is my build, Judge, Jury, and Executioner. And it's kind of the same as what we were doing before, a little bit differently because we've changed some things around here. So I'm sticking with Chain Snare. 20 points into Chain Snare. But we're going to do Judgment. 20 points into Judgment. 20 points into Chains Ablaze. 20 points into Penance Stare. Going to take that now. 20 points into Protect the Innocent. 20 points into Inferno. 20 points into Hell from Above. Well, I actually like that now. They changed it. That was another change. It's got an 8-second cooldown, and you go up and slam down and hit for some good damage. 1 point in Ride. 1 point into Infernal Contract, just for the passive effect of regenerating should you die, and you return to life. And then the remainder of all the points are in Spirit of Vengeance. And so what we do on the bar is Judgment becomes your passive, your basic attack. Now it's got a high spirit cost, and we're going to be playing with some attack speed, getting this Judgment going out there, because it hits like a truck. So the faster we can get that thing to hit like a truck, the better off we are. Kind of, you could play this like a Whirling Chain build too. If you wanted to play with Whirling Chain, you're more than welcome to do it. You can substitute Whirling Chain into this. So we're going to make Judgment pound out like crazy. And we're going to use Inferno as extra attacks, and that's a way to get our Hellfire stacks. Chain Snare is a way to immobilize and some extra damage twice per second. It's also a ranged area, and this is a ranged area dot. And that's going to tick off something that we're going to use as equipment. We got Hell from Above. This is a Vengeance power we're going to use. And we also got another Vengeance power, Infernal Wheelie. And then we finally got our Penance Stare, which is another ranged dot, Penance Stare. And it's an execute. And the thing is when you hit the Penance Stare, you remember to hold the button down. And it's got a max channel time of 1.6 seconds. I kind of wish you could just hit the button and it'll channel itself instead of having, because I'm going to hold the button down for 2 seconds, so I'm going to lose DPS using the skill, but I still like the skill. It's good enough to work in there. It's questionable whether or not you gain or lose DPS in this channel time. I'd rather it just be one big hit than what they're doing with it, but it's still kind of fun, or it's more fun now than it was. It's still a questionable tactic. You know, I think it would be better if we could just hit the button and the thing would fire off. Kind of like ethereal butterflies in Psylocke. You just hit the button and you go back to your rotation and all the butterflies come spraying out. Same thing here. Hit the button, let the stare happen, and let us continue with our rotation. That would be ideal. So going into the gearing now. We're going to use Super Heroic Matt's Arrowhead for Spirit. We'll gain a ton of Spirit every time we hit with a bleed power. We got so many bleeds going on, it's crazy. Anything that's a damage over time is basically a bleed. And that's going to really help keep us up with Spirit, because this is going to be a hefty Spirit cost by the time we're done with all the attack speed bonuses we get. Then we're going to use a Pluvian Superconductor to benefit all our AoE skills, and that's also going to buff our ultimate as well. That's the reason why we're doing it. Dr. Doom Medallion, that's going to buff our Chains Ablaze duration. It's going to buff our Protect the Innocent duration. It's going to buff our Spirit of Vengeance duration. So that's going to last a lot longer, and some of those buffs that we're getting, and we can keep going. Advanced Metasensory Array, that's going to be your first gain of attack speed with +1 to all ranks, plus the damage rating. Very high DPS artifact. Another high DPS artifact is Idol of Khonshu, +1 to all ranks. Now we got all the ranged dots happening, which is going to make our Judgment hit that much harder because of the 942 damage rating to a melee power. Then we got a River of the Soul on a defensive Uru. I have a melee power, health, critical damage rating, Cosmic Ring, which is actually pretty nice because we're going to have tons of crit. I have a low level Alejandro's Scythe that's still better than anything higher level. It's got plus damage rating. This should really be level 60. Wait till you see what I'm doing with this low level gear. It's crazy. +1 strength, +1 crit rating, +4 to all Ghost Rider's chains abilities. That's pretty awesome right there. And then it's got a chance to do extra damage. I just got a Cosmic jacket that's got some health regen on it, power duration. Most importantly, the +1 to all skills is basically what's really coming off. Blood Sign Contract, just found that. That's pretty nice, level 59. It's got crit rating, brutal strike rating, damage rating, health, spirit when you hit. That's going to be big. I'm pretty sure that's only once per second, but it still helps. And then a chance to do extra mental damage every 15 seconds. But 8+5 to all Ghost Rider's Infernal, or Ghost Rider's Hellfire powers, and Infernal +6 to Infernal Contract. I'm not going to use Infernal Contract. I don't believe in the 50% losing health, even though you can regen it so fast. Craig Crash Simpson's Engineer Boots. We're going to get Spirit out of this, attack speed, movement speed, critical hit damage, brutal damage, health, defense when we're low on health, +2 to all powers, +8 to Spirit of Vengeance. That's pretty awesome. Infernal Chopper, we're going to get damage rating with Vengeance powers, critical hit rating, +1 to fighting. When you use a vengeance power, you gain damage rating, attack speed, so even more attack speeds coming out of this brutal strike rating, +2 to all powers, +2 to vengeance powers. So that's why we got the vengeance power worked in, even though it's on an 8-second cooldown. With the duration increase and everything, we should be able to maintain all our buffs for using our vengeance powers and everything pretty nicely. And that'll help. I mean, right now it's only at 1.2, but by the time we start doing vengeance powers and everything, it should go up even higher. But you got to hit with them, unfortunately. Well, that's when you use 3.5%. It still goes up. You'll see. We're going to go right now and take on Cosmic Dr. Octopus, and he's not going to know what happened to him. I had to reset because it crashed. Server stability is definitely in question, so it's been choppy. Then all I'm doing is laying down the Inferno, throwing out the snare, dropping the hell from above, and I'll pen and stare bosses usually, and judgment everything. I can see that wasn't even. You can see you need all that spirit regeneration, otherwise we could be in trouble. Let's get the bounty hunter mission out. Basically, once the fire disappears on the ground, you know your rotation's back up. You're going to burn a ton of spirit if you're hitting things without the fire on the ground. Or if they don't have the stack of hellfire on them, I should say. This patch introduced auto looting, by the way. You can have auto loot going. Automatically pick up things like pink items. med kits, eternity splinters. You can see why I don't bother kind of staring these things. I mean, they just don't live long enough. I'll go ahead and use my ultimate here. This just wipes the floor with everything, as you can see. It's pretty disgusting. Cosmic ain't support. As you can see, pretty darn easy. I sat and got hit by stuff I shouldn't have got hit by, and left. We got some good stuff. Oh, look at that, I got an upgraded scythe. Mind you, that was with a level 44 scythe. Imagine what a level 60 scythe will now do. That's just pretty crazy. We can donate these to the pet. I'll open these just so you can see. Maybe something good will come out. Oh, ring. Not really that good. Oh, getting those cosmics down there. So that's Judge, Jury, and Executioner. I mean, it's pretty sick. He can take a lot of damage. He can do a lot of stuff, and if you're playing better than me, he can do it a lot better. So he's definitely on the list of playability again. Definitely liking the Ghost Rider changes. So if you're a Ghost Rider fan, you've got to be happy. So hope it helps. Hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to everybody real soon.